Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I have my UFC 305 predictions. And, yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Let's not waste any time. First fight of the night, Stuart Nicole versus Jesus Aguilar. I have Stuart Nicole by round 2 submission. Jesus, I just feel like Stuart Nicole, home turf, UFC debut against an experienced guy in Jesus Aguilar who has gone 5 rounds before. He submitted what's his name? I think it's Edward Chavez, something like that. Fuck, Chirez, I think. And he did it in what promotion was it? I don't remember the promotion at all. It was in here I'm looking it up. UWC, whatever the hell that is. But regardless, he's 2-1 in the UFC with his only loss being to Tatsuro Taira. He beat Shannon Ross, but everybody and their mother beat Shannon Ross. Shannon Ross is not good. He's on a 4-fight losing streak himself. 0-4 in the UFC. And yeah, so that win is what it is. Mateus Mendoza is not a bad win if it wasn't on the back end of a 3-fight losing streak. And he's fighting the hometown guy in Stuart Nicole, who has wicked submissions and knockouts. Only one win by decision, and Jesus Aguilar is prone to getting submitted, so that's why I think Stuart Nicole by round 2 submission. Moving on, Song Kanan versus Ricky Glenn. Sorry. Um, Song Kanan versus Ricky Glenn. I have Song Kanan winning via round 2 KO TKO. We've seen him put down the likes of Ian Gary, and that's the only impressive name I can think of. But he did beat Ian Gary. No, I'm stupid. He knocked down Ian Gary, which is a very hard thing to do. Nobody's done it in the UFC yet. He beat people like Roland Bedoya and Jesus. These names do not give him the best case. Regardless, he's 1-3 in his last 4, but they're not the easy opponents. Max Griffin, Ian Gary, Kevin Jousset are his 3 losses, and he's fighting a guy in Ricky Glenn who, frankly, is just shit. Frankly, he's just shit. He should be 0-3 in his last 4 if Grant Dawson didn't gas out and it would be a draw. He beat Joaquim Silva back in 2021, but other than that, he's one win since 2018, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak to Christos Giagos and Drew Dober, both by knockout, which is why I think Song Hyunang is winning via round 2 KO TKO because he's hard hitting. And yeah, moving on. Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes. Tom Nolan's gonna win. Alex Reyes, I don't think his heart's in the game. Tom Nolan, 7-1, young prospect from Australia. He his only losses to Nicholas Mata via round 1 TKO, but Alex Reyes has one fight since losing to Mike Perry in 2017, which was back last year in September of 2023, and it was a fucking round 1 knockout, like to Charlie Campbell. He's fighting for a check at this point. He's got to be not making money if you're not fighting for that long. But I guess injuries and stuff kept him out. He lost to Mike Perry in 2017 by knockout, and he lost to Charlie Campbell by knockout. So only thing I can think of is a round 1 knockout for Tom Nolan, or TKO, obviously. A lot of finishes to start this card, then it kind of gets a little dry, but it picks up a little bit at the end, in my opinion. So I think it's gonna happen. So yeah, Tom Nolan, round 1 knockout, TKO. Moving on, Jack Jenkins versus Herbert Burns. Uh, I'm going with Jack Jenkins. Herbert Burns is somewhat of a quitter, in my opinion. I feel like whenever adversity strikes, he doesn't do anything. He just kind of rolls over and lets it happen. And yeah, like when you're getting finished by Daniel Pineda, that's an awful look. He hasn't gotten a win since 2020. Yeah, and all these like he lost to Bill Algeo via exhaustion from damage. Like, and he's gotten knocked out in his last 3 fights. I don't think it's gonna be any different against Jack Jenkins, who his last fight he broke his arm against Chepe Mariscal, but before that he was beating up Chepe. He was giving him the work. He was I don't know what else to say. Big meaty hooks, whatever. R.I.P. Lucas Tracy, but yeah, he was piecing up Chepe Mariscal. He was controlling him against the fence, and until that unfortunate arm break. But yeah, Jack Jenkins, he's very good. He would be on a 10 fight win streak at this point if that Chepe Mariscal fight went past where it did. And I think Herbert Burns is quite the quitter. I think it's gonna be either I don't know what round he's gonna quit in. I could say late round 2, early round 3. I have round 3 because I feel like Herbert won't quit until later, but who knows, man? Who knows? Moving on. Casey O'Neill versus she is not fighting. She's fighting Luana Santos, and I think Santos is going to win by decision. Casey O'Neill 0-2 in her common theme here. 0-2 in her last 3. 0-2 in her last 3. 0-2 in her last 2. Fucking idiot I am. To Jennifer Maia and on Ariana Lipski. Losing to Ariana Lipski by armbar and Jennifer Maia by decision, but I feel like Casey O'Neill. Luana Santos is gonna be able to control Casey O'Neill on the ground. Luana Santos, in her career, 8-1, 4 wins by submission, 3 by decision, 1 by KO TKO, and I just feel like she's gonna be able to control Casey O'Neill on the ground. It's 2 mid fighters. WMA, I wouldn't be surprised with whoever wins. It's a 50-50 coin toss. I just have the unfortunate job of picking one, and I'm picking Luana Santos by decision. 29-28 split decision, probably because it's WMMA. Moving on, Josh Culibao versus Ricardo Ramos. I'm going with Josh Culibao via decision. Like home turf, I believe both these guys are kind of on losing streaks. Culibao's on a 2-fight losing streak. Ricardo Ramos 2-fight losing streak. But Ricardo Ramos, he kind of wins sometimes until he doesn't, if that makes sense. I mean, he just the amount of damage he's taken. He's got 2 losses by knockout, another 3 by submission. His last 2 were both by guillotines. To Julian Erosa and Charles Jourdain, and I don't rate Charles Jourdain. I don't think Charles Jourdain is good at all. I don't think he's good like whatsoever. And losing to him by getting finished by him is not a great look. I can't lie. And with the home turf and everything considered, I think Josh Culibao is going to get this done by decision. Moving on, Junior Tafa versus Walter Walker. I have Junior Tafa by round 3 KO TKO. Walter Walker, his last time out, he just couldn't handle the distance. He just got tired. He got to a decision, but by the skin of his teeth. Yeah, last time we saw Junior Tafa, he lost by leg kicks to Marcos Rodriguez de Lima, but that was him taking the fight on like hours' notice. He took the fight that day after his brother Justin Tafa suffered an injury or something, and so now he's taking on Walter Walker. And I think he's going to piece up Walter Walker. I feel and as long as he can stuff the takedowns from Walter, he'll be fine. He's terrible at grappling, but if he can stuff the takedowns to keep it on the feet, I think he'll get the finish in round 3 after Walter Walker gasses himself out. Moving on, Li Jinglian versus Carlos Prates. I'm going with Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates is on a major win streak right now. I think he's on a 9-fight win streak, I want to say. Yeah, 9-fight win streak. And yeah, like he's fought some decent people. Charles Radke, hard guy to beat. Trevin Giles, he was struggling a little bit against Trevin Giles, but then he's able to find the finish, and he's winning by finish. He's 5 things. He's on like a 10 fight or 8 fight 9 fight something like that win streak, all by knockout, like knockout streak. And I think that ends here, but it's because he's gonna win by decision. I don't think he's gonna find the chin of Ling Jilian, but I don't think taking out taking off 2 years since that split decision loss to D-Rod, which I thought he beat D-Rod. I did think Li Jinglan beat D-Rod, but that's besides the point. Other than that, he lost to Hamzat. You're losing to Neil Magny by decision. You're losing to Jake Matthews by decision. Like, these are people you should be beating if it goes the distance. And yeah, for all those reasons, I think Carlos Prates is going to get this done by decision. Probably 30-27, if I'm being honest. Maybe 29-28, Li Jinglian gets him on the ground, holds him there for a round. But yeah, regardless, Carlos Prates by decision. Moving on, Tai Tuivasa versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I'm going with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and I'm going with him by round 2 KO TKO. I feel like he's going to piece up Tai in the first round, get a couple knockdown. I can't fucking speak today. Jesus Christ. He's going to get a couple knockdowns in the first round and finally get to finish in the second round, and we will see Tai Tuivasa cut from the UFC because he will be on a 5-fight Tony Ferguson-esque losing streak. All by finish, whether it be 2 knockouts, 2 submissions, soon to be 3 knockouts, I think. And yeah, Jairzinho Rozenstruik's going on a little run himself. He's going to try to attempt to put one together. He had some rough losses to submission to Almeida, knocked out by Volkov, decision by Blades, decision by Gon, and knocked out cold by Ngannou. But yeah, he's gonna beat Tai Tuivasa. I don't rate Tai Tuivasa anymore. I thought Tai Tuivasa was better than he actually is because I thought Tybura was gonna beat Spivak because of how dominantly he beat Tuivasa, but that was not the case. Tai Tuivasa is just not that good. And yeah, so I'm going Jairzinho Rozenstruik by knockout, round 2 knockout. Moving on, Dan Hooker versus Mateusz Gamrot. I want to pick Dan Hooker. I think I'm going to because it's in Australia. I'll pick Dan Hooker. I'm not the most confident in it. It's probably the wrong pick, but we've seen Gamrot get rocked in every one of his fights. You're getting rocked by 40-year-old RDA. If RDA can rock you, Dan Hooker can most definitely rock you. And for that reason, I'm going Dan Hooker. I think it's going to be 29-28 decision, like 1 round. He's probably going to get chain wrestled by Mateusz Gamrot and just get stuck to the mat. I don't see a finish coming from either of them. Like, even if, what's his name, Gamrot were to win, I don't see it being by finish of any sort. Yeah, Dan Hooker, I feel like he'll be able to stuff the takedowns and outland Gamrot on the feet. And it has all the makings for Dan Hooker decision win. So Dan Hooker by 29-28 decision. This is my upset pick of the main card. And yeah, moving on. Kai Kara France versus Steve Erceg. I'm going Steve Erceg. I feel like Steve Erceg is just better than Kai Kara France everywhere. Especially Kai coming off a decent layoff. How long was that layoff? Yeah, about a year and a half. Year and 2 months. I feel like that fight was longer ago. Wow. But yeah, about a year and 2 months for Kai. He hasn't won a fight since beating Askar Askarov in March of 2022. So it's going to be a while since he's won a fight. And even before the Abazi fight, his last fight before that was in 2022. So he's not really active. So I'm going to take the active guy in Steve Erceg, who has fought 4 times since entering the UFC in June of 2023. 3 wins, and could have been 4 against Pantoja. That was a very close fight. I thought Erceg could have got it on damage, but, it is what it is. Close fight. And yeah, so I'm going Ursag. I feel like he's just gonna outland Kai Kara France, and on the ground he's gonna dominate Kai Kara France, hold him down, maybe put him in a few submission attempts. So yeah, I got Ursag 30-27 decision, maybe 30-26 even, if the ground game is really that dominant. And alright, moving on to the main event, Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. I have Israel Adesanya by round 3 KO TKO. Now, rounds 1 and 2, I think Dricus is going to win. If it goes the distance, Dricus is going to win. Because just the fight style of Izzy and the fight style of Dricus. Dricus is like similar-ish to Sean, but he's a lot more reckless, which is why I think Izzy's going to win. Dricus kind of runs at you. I don't know. His defense is like alright, but he's getting tagged up by Sean and counter strikes. And that's Izzy's a lot better counter striker than um Dricus will ever. Holy shit. Izzy's a better counter striker than Sean will ever be. So yeah, that's why I think Izzy's gonna be able to find the chin of Dricus in round 3, and we're gonna have the love triangle. Because if Izzy wins, the only two people that will get a title shot are Shemaev if he beats Whitaker or Strickland. They're not going to give Dricus the rematch, and then they don't want to do Whitaker Adesanya 3 after Whitaker's down 2-0. So yeah, those are my full card predictions. I'll run them through one more time. I have Stuart Nicole, Song Kanan, Tom Nolan, Jack Jenkins, Luana Santos, Josh Kulabau, Junior Tafa, Carlos Prates, Jorginho Rosenstrike, Dan Hooker, Steve Ursay, and Israel Adesanya. Wow, I have the whole right side for the main card. That never happens. But yeah, those are my UFC 305 predictions. I'll try to get another video out or two this week. I'm cooking up an idea. I've seen done kind of, but I'm putting my own little twist on it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.